Okay, this is my very first podcast. I told you guys that good things were coming, and as promised, good things are here. This is a friend of mine, and we've been friends for at least 40 years, probably more. This is a friend of mine, and I love him dearly, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself to you. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Shit is
Oh, boom. Positive Postman. I
Yes, sir.
like that. I
Yes,
like
sir.
that.
Yes, sir. Making a difference. Uh, Tell the people who you are,
Well,
man.
my name is David Inslee, better known as Lil Dave, transferred now to AKA Big Dave. All righty.
Right.
So, names change. I'm like Pimp C. My name changed 10,000 times. They also call me Shorty, you
uh,
know, white boy, anything you want to call me. I usually answer.
Apple
If
butter.
apple butter, R.I.P. Ernest Raw.
They're already.
Yeah.
Where you from, man?
Well, I was born in Houston, but I'm from Fort Worth. Stop six. Throw that six up, baby.
No. So what was life like in Stop Six?
Man, life in Stop Six was very interesting. I remember when I first got there, it was still kind of everything was black owned. You know, it was nice. It was a nice neighborhood.
Okay. Okay.
As far as being the hood and blacks, it was historical.
Right.
It's one of the most historical neighborhoods in Texas.
Mhm.
You have to go to Houston, like Third Ward and Acres Home, to get what Stop Six is. It's like that.
Yeah.
That's how historical it is.
Okay. Okay. So, uh, I understand you just were recently released from prison.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I did 7 years and 1 month on a 10-year sentence for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Hmm. So you did 7 on a 10.
Yes.
And what was your release date?
August the 29th, 2024.
Man, I bet you happy to be home, huh?
Man, I'm happy. It's a blessing. I'm happy. It's a little different, but I'm happy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So now that you home, what's next?
Man, when I left, I had some things going on. I had a youth organization called D Up that me and a friend of mine put together, a real good dear friend, sort of like Rodney right here.
Right.
Um, his name is Michael Sims. We started the D Up organization. And since I've been gone, he has took that organization to new heights.
Mhm.
And now I'm ready to get back in and just get in where I fit in.
So you kind of want to like continue being a mentor to children.
Oh yes, definitely. That's my love.
Hmm. Talk about
Children are
that.
my love, man. I love children. I'm gonna tell you something. I'd rather talk to a child than talk to an adult because an adult, their mind is made up. I mean, they are what they are, and they
Yeah,
think the way they think. You can't change their mind.
yeah.
But I can take that child and I can teach that child,
Hmm.
and that child is the future.
Yeah.
And with the D Up organization, we sent over 120 kids to college.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
we do big things with those kids. I believe in them. I believe in every kid that ever come through there, and they all love me. And I believe in every kid that's in their present today.
Mm. So what is the solution for the youth of today to keep them out of prison?
Us, us. We have to spend time with them.
Mm.
We have to give back to them. We have to show them that they loved. We have to show them that the streets are not what the streets are.
Mm.
We are
Okay.
what we are,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we make them kids.
Mm.
I had my son David. I remember the kids. They all looked up to the drug dealers
Yeah.
back then. You
Right.
know, and I've been out the game for a long time. So everybody was rolling on 24s. So I took a 13-year-old kid and I bought him a Crown Vic on 24s,
The white one.
the white one.
Yeah.
And when I did that, I showed every kid that you don't have to be a drug dealer to
Right.
drive that car.
Good stuff. That's true.
So those kids, They come in to the gym and they put in their work.
Mhm.
They went to after school programs. They did everything I asked them to do, so they could put in that work, so they can live that good life.
So, do you plan on doing your mentorship in Houston or Fort Worth?
I'm planning to do both. You know, I really want to do both because I'm tied into Houston down here. I have a lot of, like Houston Hoops and all of those guys. They know D up. We
Mhm.
know 'em down here.
Okay.
So, I really want to, help kids out down here too. Right now I can't move. So this is home.
Yeah.
So this is where I have to begin. So, with Coach Mike and, when we work it out and how we're going to do this, I'm quite sure we're going to do both of them.
Okay. Let's switch gears for a minute.
Yes, sir.
You said that you were from Stop Six.
Yes, sir.
In the 1990s, Stop Six, Fort Worth was known as Murder Worth.
Right on.
How much did Stop Six contribute to the name Murder Worth?
Oh man, it was the name. It's the name. Stop Six is, if you look it up right now, 76112 area code, zip code.
Mm.
It's in the top 10 for crime as of 2017. And that's in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's California, Chicago, Detroit. That's what Stop Six is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just back in the 80s. It's still right now today present as one of the most zip codes for crime.
So, in terms of, so you were a blood,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So were you considered the OG?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, that started with me and another good friend, and that's Mookie, Trent, and it was just me and him, man, and we've been riding together for a long time. I mean, when it wasn't nobody, everybody had cliques and gangs, K9 posse, all in the family, and it was just me and him, and we was just known as Stop Six, and man, we just took off. We just got a couple of youngsters, T. Lynn, Shimada, Manchi, a lot of them locked up with life sentences, but we just all became together, and built a family. We had Fat Pat, Ernest Raw,
Right.
Even Harold Lee, Don. We just a family, man, and we just became a family.
Right.
And we built that family, and that family couldn't be touched. It just couldn't be touched.
Still stand to this day.
Still stand to this day. Oh, and can't forget about Little Evil.
So, question: have you ever been stabbed or shot?
Yes.
Which one?
Both.
Both.
Right.
Well, talk to me about the shooting first.
Well, I got shot on Halloween.
Okay.
Well, some guys rolled by in front of the house. I never forget it.
What house?
The house on Carverly.
Oh,
Carverly.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back. We'll talk about Carverly Street real quick, and then we're gonna get into the shooting. What was Carverly Street?
Well, Carverly, that was Trent's grandmother's house.
Okay.
And that house ended up turning to be the Honeycomb Hangout. That house was known for everything.
Okay.
That house was known for trapping.
Mm-hmm.
It owned the records for getting shot up in a week.
Right.
In the city.
Wait. So the house on Carverly owned the records for getting shot up in 1 week.
Yeah, and I think that was 28 times, according to Alton, which is a policeman, passed away, R.I.P.
He was sergeant.
He was the head nigga in charge. Everybody knew him.
Yeah.
He was, according to him, that house got shot up more times in a week than anybody's house.
So take me back to Halloween night.
Well, Halloween, it was some guys pulled up, and I was standing in the yard, and they stopped up and they said, "What "What's cracking, little Dave?" And I say, "What's popping?" And we had some words, and I had a baseball bat in my hand because I was dressed in a Boston Red Sox hat. The B stands for blood, and I was red down. And he said some things, and before I know it, I had took the bat, swung at him in the car. And when I swung at him in the car, he drove up, and the dude opened the back door and said, "Trick or treat, motherfucker," and he shot me. And Trent ran out the door. He said, "Man, what's going on?" I said, "Man, I've been shot."
Yeah.
Trent said, "You ain't been shot. If you been shot, you fall down."
Yeah.
And by the end, he shot me with a squirrel pellets. He didn't. I mean, it didn't. It hurt it, but it was just squirrel pellets.
Right.
It was probably 1,000 of them.
Yeah. So tell the people more about squirrel pellets and what type of gun they come from.
Those are they're not double R buckshots, but they buckshots, and they come from a 12 gauge, and come in a little cartridge about like that, and it holds a lot of them. That's what they use to hunt birds, doves, and stuff like that. So they usually don't miss. So when he opened that door and he shot, he hit me from my waist all the way down, and I still got bullets in me to this day. Because when they took me to the doctor, when Trent took me to the hospital, there wasn't nothing they can do. They told me they had to pop out my skin.
Okay.
And they still ain't popped out my skin. I still got some, but it's the second time I got shot with them. But that's one right there.
So you still got squirrel pellets.
Man, all in my body.
Yeah. So you were also wounded on another occasion?
Man, several times.
Okay. Was that the one at the car wash on Berry?
No, I wasn't wounded there. That was Wayne.
Okay. You want to talk about the car wash on Berry?
Well, no, we can't really talk about that.
Cool.
Yeah, that was
all right.
That was a different.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about when you were stabbed?
All right. Now, when I was stabbed, I was at the club. And Bird, if you watching this, excuse my language, Positive Postman, fuck you. Because let me tell you this, okay? No. But it's Bird, man. You know Bird from the hood. That's my brother, man. I love Bird. Shoot, that's my boy.
Right.
I'm talking about, yeah, I know.
I seen Bird. Somebody shot at Bird point blank range and missed.
So if
at the center,
anybody could say that to him, it's me. I can say that because he know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So we sitting in the club.
Like Bird, one love.
One love, Bird.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but you know, you the cause of
it. What happened?
So we sitting in the club.
A
little female walked up to me and she said, "Dave, I want to be with you."
Okay.
I told her, "Nah." Bird turned around and say, "Well, you tell her if she be with both of us, you'll do it." I say, "Bird, you crazy as hell." So I tell the girl, "Okay, you got to be with both of us." The girl come back and she say, "Well, anything to get you."
Right.
I looked at Bird. I said, "Oh, that worked."
Yeah.
So in the process of us doing this here, the girl agreed. Now I didn't know her man was over there in the club.
That was a dude from the other side of Stop City.
Yes.
Back then, before
Bloods
and Crips.
Right.
Okay.
And I didn't know he was over there.
Yeah.
So the little girl, I'm going out the club. Me, Bird, Ernest Raw, everybody. Right. You know, he grabbed me from behind with a box cutter. Okay. And he cut me from ear to ear. Okay. And he did his thing. I thought it was Trent playing. Right. So I yanked away from him. When I yanked away from him, he had cut me. So I swung, and then my boy Tommy Davis came. Man, I sure appreciate you. He came, get off little Dave, and he got cut, and all his intestines fell out. The dude cut him with the box cutter. Yeah. And I'm telling Ernest Raw, get my pistol. Or you know, Ernest Raw, friendly. Right. He hit him. Get off Dave. Get off Dave. Rest in peace, Ernest Raw. Yeah. So Tommy Davis get cut, I get cut. So the little dude run off. And they take Tommy Davis to the hospital, tie his insides up, save his life, man. Appreciate y'all. And he went to the hospital, and then me, I went on a mission.
Wait. I know this story. And I just got to jump in right quick. Now, from my understanding, it was some needle and thread
It's coming.
that was used to sew his neck up after he was cut in the throat. Talk about that.
Okay. So after I went on the mission, I go to a friend house, a lady friend, Monica. You know who you are. I went to your house. We called Trent. So I don't do doctors in hospitals. I'm scared of doctors in hospitals to this day. And they had to stop the bleeding because I was dropping drops this big.
Yeah.
And so me, Trent, we got in the car. We went to 7-Eleven and got some alcohol, peroxide, needle and thread, which he had needle and thread. And we went back to the house and he proceeded to stitch it up. He put cocaine on it. First, I poured the rubbing alcohol and peroxide inside the wound.
Right.
I instantly had a bowel movement. Okay, because it was burning. I didn't know we couldn't do that. You know, back then we didn't have no clue. He was playing doctor. He was happy, and I was the patient, and I was happy because I didn't have to go to the hospital. So I poured this in, had a bowel movement. We got that out the way, and he put cocaine on it, and he stitched it with needle and thread. And I'm talking about when I tell you he stitched it, this is the little mark that's left. This cut come from here all the way down to here. He tried to kill me, trust me. And that's all that's left. Appreciate that. Cause that look good right now.
So have you seen the dude since?
No comment.
Okay. So you were Truman Street OG.
Yes.
What came with what were some of the qualifications to be an OG?
Lead by example. You know, I wouldn't tell nobody to do nothing that I wouldn't do. If that makes sense.
Right.
So I led by example. I made sure the ones that I messed with didn't go without. You know, whether they had money in their pocket, guns in their hand, whatever it is. Yeah. I made sure that they had everything. But they had to go to school.
Okay.
Yeah, every one of them will tell you they had to go to school. They can fool with me after school.
Okay. Did you ever sell any drugs?
Man, I sold a lot of drugs.
What kind of drugs did you sell?
Cocaine, crack cocaine. I think they made a movie after us.
So did you ever have a job?
Yes. I was always pretty smart. So I like to thank my mama, RIP, but you know, she showed me better ways to do things. And yes, I had a cleaning service, nickel and dime here and there, just to keep people out my way. You know, but that came a little bit later.
Yeah.
Mostly I had the cleaning service and doing things like that to filter stuff money in.
Okay. So you've been on both sides of the spectrum.
Both sides.
Yeah.
And I've been successful on both sides.
Yeah.
I've been successful on both sides.
Can I ask you about the incident that took place with the 357 Magnum and somebody's mother's boyfriend?
Oh, well, he came in the house. I don't know what his intentions was. He come in, talk noise to me, had a box cutter. I think he was gonna rob me. So
what was he saying to you?
Oh, he was saying a little bit of everything. He called me everything but a son of God.
Did he say why he was there?
Yeah, it started off with me calling his wife a bitch.
Out of the name.
Out of name.
Okay.
And then it went from there to everything else transpired. I mean, I'm this, I'm that. He'll take this, he'll take that, he'll do me like this and do me like that. And I shot him.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you shoot him at?
I shot him in the leg.
What kind of gun?
357.
357.
Yeah.
Did you 357 does extensive damage?
Yes.
Are you aware of the damage that you caused?
Yeah. But I saved his life.
Okay.
I wanted him to live.
Okay.
Because he was in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the few times in my life that I was in the right on that side of the crime.
Right.
Because he came in my house after me. So
self-defense.
I was in self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the right that time. And I was thankful that I did it the way that I did it.
Okay.
That turned out pretty good.
So what happened when law enforcement showed up?
Well, I got hit in the back of the head with a crowbar. My head pretty hard. So I got hit in the head with a crowbar. I had to go get stitches. And when they came in, I told him everything that I'm telling y'all. He came in, he charged me, he said things, he wanted to take my money, he wanted to do this, and wanted to do that. And I defended myself and shot him. And they wanted me to press charges against him, against both of them, the lady and the male, because they wanted to charge him with robbery. And I refused to press charges because where I'm from, that ain't what we do.
Right. So looking back on it now, they always say hindsight is 20/20.
Right.
Would you have done anything different after the shooting, as far as pressing charges, or would you allow things to stay the way they are or the way they were?
I probably would let it stay the same because now that you say hindsight, after seeing the prison system, I wouldn't want nobody to go to prison.
Okay.
I wouldn't press charges on nobody
Right.
for them to go to prison. I wouldn't do it.
Okay, so let's use that as a segue. You mentioned the prison system, and you just did 7 on a 10.
Right.
What was it like your very first day in prison?
My first day, when I hit a unit, it was scary. And the reason why I say it was scary is not because I'm scary. I have no fear of nothing. But in this situation, I was going into a point that was blind to me. You had a lot of people on the other side of Fort Worth that I didn't know what had happened, in the gang banging days. So I didn't know if they was looking for me or what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who they were. And that was the biggest thing of being scared. I didn't know who was who. And
because your name was pretty big in the city of Fort Worth.
Yes, and it was big in that prison system.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that came through that represented that Truman Street in prison, man, say I appreciate you because you made my time easy and you made it. I mean, man, I was treated like a king because of all the people that came through that system and represented that Truman Street. They kept it real.
How did you do your 7 years?
Well, I done them minding my business, staying to myself, spoke when spoken to, not being nosy, not snitching. When I first go into prison, all I heard was stories of how prison was back in the day. It's not like that no more. Prison is watered down. It's a daycare center right now. It's nothing tough about it. It's nothing. Everybody's snitching. It's different. When I tell you it's watered down now, it's watered down, and I'm probably thankful for going through it now than back then, if that makes sense. Because back then, it probably would have been killed to be killed. Yeah. Here, it was just like a daycare because it's so watered down. They have so many rules and regulations now. Like you might have heard something like, oh, when you go to prison, they'll take your booty. Right. Well, they don't do that. Them people down there giving it away. Yeah. You don't have to take nothing. It's given away now. Oh man, they used to have this little thing that I heard, excuse my language, is fuck, fight, or bust a 95. Okay. They don't have, that's not real no more because they have extortion laws. Okay. And if you take something from somebody, that's almost a free world case now. So it's so watered down. It's not like it used to be. I'm not saying prison wasn't tough at one time, but right now, as of today, it's not. Yeah, you have your fights, you have your little different little scuffles and stuff like that, but it's not like it was.
So, what do you think caused it to be watered down?
Well, because some of the high power people, like your senators and your governors and their kids, went to prison and they got messed over. So they made laws to protect them just in case they go back. You feel me? So yes, so they made it to where they can sit there. The white boys. Yes. Some Mexicans.
We are not racist.
No.
We just stating the facts.
Yeah, we talking about the prison system.
Yeah. So, what did you learn while you were in prison?
Man, that's a tough one because I went in smarter than the average person that goes to prison. My IQ is 140. Is what they tested me. Okay. And the average IQ that goes through prison, they told me was a 78.
Average.
The average. So if you were 78 IQ, you really almost say retarded in their eyes. Well, then they looked at me and they said, well, wow, I scored high on every test they gave. I blew them off the charts. And then I turned around, and when they started retesting me, I turned around and started flunking the test because I didn't want to seem like I was better or different than anybody else in there.
Why not?
Well, because I was in their world. You got people that's not going home. So I have to respect them people.
So, like, maybe out of jealousy or malice or envy?
Yes.
Okay.
All of that. Okay. All of that. A lot of times, my sister, you even, would send me money. A lot of times I wouldn't make store because some people there wasn't making store.
What is store?
That's when you go to commissary and you buy your little Zuzus and Wham Whams. A lot of people wasn't going to store. Okay. And so
so when you say they wasn't going to store, does that mean they had no love from the outside world?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And in a place like that, you need love from the outside world. See, that was one of the hardest things too, is getting y'all to understand that I needed the support. Because if something was to go down in there, then I needed that phone call from this outside world. Right. Because that's what moved things. See, they don't want you to know what's going on the inside. They want you to think it's all peaches and gravy. So that's why I had y'all support, so I could have those calls. So if something ever happened, they knew that I was loved out here. See, if you're not loved out here and you in there by yourself, them folks will kill you, man.
Yeah.
They will kill you. And I'm not talking about inmate on inmate. I'm talking about officers.
CO.
Yes. Because say something if you have a disagreement with an officer and you get into it with him. When he gets on this little walkie-talkie and he calls an ICS.
What's that?
Well, that's what they use to call reinforcements.
Okay.
I forget the name of what they call it. I knew it when I was in prison, but you know how you leave, you forget things.
Try on purpose.
Yes. Yeah, I tried to forget my TDCJ number too, but I have to remember that every time I go before. But anyway, he would call an ICS. And the ICS would be, the confrontation would be like me and you.
Right.
Well, when he get on the walkie-talkie and call, he got 20 people coming behind him. Well, us in white, we don't stick together. See, they got us so separated that it's 20 against 1. So if you still bumping and you don't bow down, they tell you to put your hands behind your back. They put them handcuffs on you and they take you to a little room and they beat the shit out of you. And then we don't see you no more for 2 or 3 months. But now if we in white was to stick together, then that could never happen. But see, you only find that so often. On certain units I went on, you could find that.
But what unit? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What units did you hit while you were incarcerated?
Oh man, I went from the top of Texas to the bottom of Texas.
Okay.
I never hit the right and the left.
Yeah.
And when I say right and the left, I'm talking about the points. Going to Arkansas to El Paso. Yeah. I didn't hit Arkansas and I didn't hit El Paso, but I went all the way from Amarillo all the way down to Huntsville. Yeah. Well, Houston, because I came from Darrington.
Yeah. Darrington?
Yeah.
Okay. So you did Dalhart?
No, I didn't do Dalhart.
Okay. Yeah. But you were in Amarillo or the Panhandle for a certain period of time.
Yes.
What unit is that?
I went to Bill Clemens. Okay. And I stayed briefly there. And then I went to Neal unit, which was across the street. And I stationed there for a little bit. Now, Neal unit was I'm gonna say it was like a sex offenders unit. Okay. But it was called a go home unit. And in that unit, they had us wearing color bracelets, like cows.
For what?
So they'll know which place we stayed, what building we stayed. Okay? Yeah. So the sex offenders had on one color. And you didn't touch them. You didn't mess with them. The warden told you when you got on the unit, you don't mess with my sex offenders.
So they take care of the sex offenders in prison. They look out for the sex offenders.
On those type of units. Sex offenders don't hit major units because people do get mad at them. Right. And they will hurt them. That's one set of group that I say will and can get hurt in prison. The sex offenders.
Okay. So the prison system actually looks out for sex offenders to a certain degree.
Yes. And they look out for people that don't want no trouble. See, you can do your time the way you want to do it. You can make it easy or you can make it hard. Say if you come in there and you're a youngster, like some of these youngsters coming in, and they like to fight, and they like to do this. Well, they got a whole unit over there where you can fight every day. Yeah. They don't even care. Ain't nobody gonna come stop you. They gonna let you fight.
What about the youngsters that don't like to fight, but they only, they shoot, but they won't fight?
If you don't get in no trouble,
they're scared to fight.
They'll put you in a minimum unit. And that unit over there where you just have to do your time. You might have a fight here and there, but you're on a minimum unit, so you just have to do your time. Sit back, chill, mind your business, and everything will go smooth.
The reason I say that is because out here in the free world, when we see a youngster pick up a gun,
it's not the free world. See, I had to tell the counselors when they refer to this out here as free. It's not free. It's called the real world.
Okay.
Free is inside of there because we don't do nothing. We don't spend no money.
Right.
The art of manipulation is on the inside. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because you sent money. I spent your money. I spent my sister money.
Right. Right.
You see?
So in the real world, we always say, well, that youngster shot up, that youngster accidentally killed. Like for instance, the 4th of July, at a car wash on the southwest side, there was a 15-month-old girl and a 4-year-old girl. They were sisters,
right,
and they were murdered.
right.
And so the mentality out here in the real world is, well, when he go to the penitentiary, he not gonna have that gun.
Right.
So what happens to him when he goes to the penitentiary?
He has to go do 10 years in the back before they bring him to population. See, he'll do 10 years over here. See, and the reason why they do that is because if it's a high profile case, you'll be and forgot about it. You'll be and forgot that you saw him on the news. So when he comes to population, you won't even know who he is. Now, when he gets to population, then it becomes up to him. He can either run his mouth or he can sit back and do his time.
Or somebody might recognize.
And if somebody recognizes, then with all the rules and regulations, if it ain't their family or something, it's a rule in the penitentiary. You don't bring the real world inside the penitentiary. That's another thing that I had to learn when you asked me, was I scared? Because I ran across somebody that had a beef with somebody that I know. Man, we don't bring outside inside. Right. Now inside, it can come outside. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because there was so many people that done things to people on the outside that was inside that they didn't touch. But as soon as he made parole, shoot, you can hear about 3 days later he was shot.
Right after making parole.
Right, because the streets handled it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really it's the art of manipulation at its finest, brother. When I tell you at its finest, if you ever read 48 Laws of Power,
right,
that's it. That's it. That's it to the topics. That's it to his understanding.
So the 48 Laws of Power, we understand that book is illegal in prison.
They will not allow it.
Why is that?
Because they don't want you to really get an understanding of the 48 Laws of Power. See, people read that book in prison but never understood it. They never could put 2 and 2 together.
Have you ever read it?
Man, plenty of times. But I read it before prison.
Yeah.
So when I read it before prison, now I'm not saying that I understood it, but I did. Because I used the art of manipulation in the way I live. Keep your enemies close.
Yeah.
You feel me? They could be more trustworthy than your people. Right. Yeah. Your people are always trying to take you down. That's why you get the snitching and stuff. So I used it, but now when I went to prison, I seen it at its finest. I seen everything that the world teaches.
So it's it's weak minds in prison.
A lot. It's more followers than it is leaders. See, you can go to prison and you can control 200 men and tell them to stand on the wall, and all of them gonna mind. Now I'll be the one, yes, and I'll be the one holding my nuts saying, "Fuck you." And then it'll be somebody standing next to me talking about, "Come on, big homie, man, just let them do what they do."
Right. I would have manipulated him too.
You see, but my mentality was like, "Who the hell are you?" But I had to. I'm in that world.
Yeah.
So I had to bow myself down. Okay, well, let me turn around.
So what with let's go to the trial.
Okay.
Uh the judge, I understand you had a bench trial.
Right. I had a trial with a jury.
Yeah.
And I was tried by jury and sentenced by judge.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if I would have known what I know now after studying the law, I would have went trial by judge because the judge has to uphold the law
Okay.
to the fullest. A jury doesn't. A jury goes by hearsay, she say, and they figure out whichever story fits the best, and they work on that.
So a jury can be manipulated.
Yes, and they manipulate it good, as you can tell.
Right.
I was convicted with no physical evidence. I was convicted with no witnesses. How can you say that? Well, you can have two people that come and say they did it. But the one person that identified me or say they did, they put the gun in a whole different other way than what the police report said. So technically, if you go in the opposite way, saying opposite what the police report, you didn't see it.
So what do you think would have happened if you would have had a trial by judge?
Not guilty. He couldn't have convicted me. It's no way possible. It's no way he could have convicted.
So I understand that you're fighting uh, the conviction now. You even to this day, you
Yes, I'm going to give it back to them because they violated my rights. They violated my constitutional rights.
Okay.
And they know it though.
So do you have an attorney right now, or are you your own attorney?
Well, right now, I wrote up all the paperwork, but I'm gonna present it to an attorney, and then we're gonna go from there. But I'm looking for an attorney that's gonna say, okay, come here, let me work with you because I see it. You know, one thing I did when I was in prison, I wrote my paperwork to what is that, man?
The courts.
No, it's a school. It's like Texas Southern right here in Houston, and it's something about your rights, avid rights, and they take your case pending the evidence if they can win it. Well, as soon as I wrote them and they looked in my case, they wrote me back and said, we want your case. But in the process of them wanting my case, and you know, when I'm thinking and I'm listening, I'm saying, okay, well, I come up for parole in 5 years.
Okay.
Well, if I sit here and fight with them, I might do the whole 10. So I was thinking, okay, get out here. And then, you know, I needed people on the outside to help me push, you know, to help me push. You know, with everybody working and everybody doing this and everybody doing that. Yeah, all my calls was accepted and everything, but it was hard to get that push.
Right.
Because people have lives.
Yeah.
So, and I have to respect that. So I did everything the way that I needed to do, and I'm gonna give it back to them.
So when you say give it back to them, you mean give back your conviction?
Yes.
And wipe the entire thing off of your record.
Right.
So are you or what else? Is there anything else that you stand to gain from giving it back to them?
Well, I could possibly get paid, but at the end of the day, we're still dealing with the state of Texas. Do you know how many years it'll take them to pay me? I would die before they finish paying me.
Well, have you did the research on um, the amount of pay, or was it like back pays?
Yeah, it's like 80,000 a year, but 80,000 a year, that's just what Obama put in. But I have more, you know, because I got more things that I can file on.
When you say Obama put it in,
Right.
educate the audience
Well,
on what you're
he
talking about.
signed a law that states that if you wrongly convicted, that they had to pay you at least $80,000 a year for your wrong conviction every year you was locked up. So if you did 10 years, you got 800,000.
If you were wrongly
If
accused.
you was wrongly accused. But you have to also know that 80,000, they only have to pay you, $3,000 or $4,000 a month.
Right. If they choose to.
If they choose to. It might be less.
So what are your chances of success?
Oh, it's very good. It's very good. I'm talking about 100%.
Okay.
No downfalls. It's like taking candy from a baby. They know it.
Let's switch gears for a second.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna stay on the trial, but let's switch gears within the trial.
Okay.
I remember when the DA called you. She called you either a menace
An
or
animal.
an animal. I think it was an animal.
She called me an animal several times.
So, have you ever been an animal?
Well, I would say yes. And I'm not going to say an animal purposely, because that's not me. Us, not racist, but as black people, we are not violent people. If you go back and do your history. Okay. So I was programmed to be this way. So when you go an animal, yes, I'm 5'3". I'm small. People like to pick on the small person. So I got the little man syndrome. And then everything comes with it. So in order for me to make an example, I take the biggest one and I make an example out of him. So when I make that example, does it make me look like an animal? Yes. It's like if you turn that pit bull loose on that chihuahua. It makes that pit bull look like that.
Smaller than that pit bull. That chihuahua can't whoop that pit.
I'm just saying, he can outrun it. He can get to places where he can't get. So you just reverse that and put me in the chihuahua spot.
Right.
And put the big dude in the pit bull spot. You reverse it. So
society put you in a situation where you had to be an animal to survive.
Yes. That goes back to Stop 6. That goes back to your gang banging. That goes back to being a drug dealer. I had to protect me and mine. And they had to do the same. And we was all, when I say mine, I'm talking about the family. Nobody was no better than nobody else. We all was on the equal playing field. But we had to protect it. We had to maintain. If somebody came and robbed you, matter of fact, we can even talk about this. We had an incident when we was at the club. Dude disrespected you.
Is that what club was that?
We was in Houston. You remember we come down, you made us buy that old Snoop Dogg album that didn't jam when he was with no liquor.
We're going to talk about that later.
But no, I'm just saying, you remember we at the club. Disrespected you. He'd never disrespect nobody else.
Right.
Because I made sure that who you talking to? Him? No, talk to me.
Right. There's been a few club incidents.
I know. That's why I don't go to clubs.
We're gonna save the club incidents for the next interview. And it's probably about 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you about this club. I'm gonna tell you why the club stopped.
Okay.
I go to my mama's house one day. My mama's sitting up. It's 5:30 in the morning. I said, "Mama, what you doing up?" She said, "I'm watching the news trying to see if your dumb ass died." And I say, "What? Why would I die?" She said, "Because you do stupid things." And I say, well, stupid things. What's stupid? She said, you been to the club? I said, yeah. She said, okay, what time you leave? I said, shoot, I just left. What happened? I said, well, shoot, I was parking lot pimping and things jumped off.
Right.
She said, okay, well, let me tell you something. What time you get to the club? I say, shoot, about 10. She said, okay, by 10, by 12, any girl that want to go home with you, gonna go home with you by 12. Why don't you leave the club at 12 and go home, and then that way you won't have no incidents. Won't be no fighting, won't be no shooting.
Right.
No parking lot pimping. And that made sense to me. So when I started going to the club, I started going to the club and leaving at 12. And then that way, when I go home and see my mama, she was asleep. It took me a while to understand that.
Yeah, but you finally got it.
I finally got it.
Let's talk about Miss Elise, man.
Man, that's my heart.
Mama,
Mm-hmm.
what does she mean to you?
Man, she meant the world to me. I wish she was here right now so I can tell her. Because a lot of things that that she said would haunt me. You know, like come by and see your mama and spend time with her. See, you went by and spent more time with my mama. Trent, everybody else. All she wanted was me to come spend time with her. So she made a little dying wish for me to be there with her. She probably saved my life. Because that time right there that I spent with her, it makes me survive right now to the day. Because I did get to spend that time with her. Wasn't long. And it didn't make up for all the past. But it's not about all the past, it's about what she was doing to heal me. Because see, she knew what she was doing. I didn't. And now I understand that time I spent with her. You know, you try your mama telling you that, man, I used it on myself. And I got the cleaner.
Yeah.
She only did that one time on me though. But that right there. So I mean I took pride in that. And I respect everything that she taught me. And I live right now. A lot of things are changing my life because I understood her later. I didn't understand her then. Just like every parent. Yeah. We don't understand mama. We don't understand why daddy was fussing at us. You didn't understand why you had to go to clean them hogs every week. Right. I didn't either. That's why I never went.
You taught me a valuable lesson.
Yes, but you can understand it now than you could back then. And that's what she means. She means going forward in my life. That's who I am. She told me once before when I told her, I said, Mama, can you babysit my kids? She said, what I look like? She said, boy, let me tell you something. You never go nowhere that your kids can't go with you. So that made me change me being a father. Well, I'm not going nowhere unless my kids can go with me. Why? Because I had no babysitter. The only other babysitter is black. You know, you when I can get you to babysit. Yeah, I know. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Now you talked about your kids.
Right.
You lost your son.
Right.
Can you talk about that?
Yes.
Okay. What year did it happen?
It happened 2013.
And what happened?
Man, okay. The police report. Well, matter of fact, I'm going to get that police report too while I'm in Houston. I just haven't built up the strength to go get it. They said that him and somebody went in to rob somebody and they got shot. Well, I come to find out that's not what happened. Okay. Little Birdie told me. But he was sitting in the house playing 2K. And his friends came in and robbed him. One of them killed himself, man, and I really wanted to get out and save that kid. Uh, he they went there to rob him and they shot him, and two of the young black men got 45 years in TDC. And
Okay.
yeah, I never would tell the police about the other one from Fort Worth. That's the one that killed himself. And that hurt me because I wanted to save that kid. I wanted to let him know that I wasn't mad and I understood. And hey man, come on, get your life together. This is not what he wanted. And it went down messed up, man. He was on a cruise.
Yeah.
Never forget it.
Yeah. Came and got his stuff when I got off.
Man, and it went down a foul way, and it hurt me. And I still live with that. And anybody, any parent that loses a child, you feel me. We never get over that pain. That pain will never get over. And for those who say, man, I feel you, and you ain't never lost a child, you don't feel me. You don't feel me. It's a everyday battle. It's an everyday battle. And I talk to his son every day. And he never seen his son.
Your grandson.
Yes, yeah. I talk to him every day. Probably finna call me in a minute. When you hear this phone ring, it's gonna be her.
Look just like it.
Look just like
it.
Yeah. And I was talking to her the other night, and I was telling her how much I commend her. Because looking at that boy, I don't think I could look at that boy every day because I see him.
You see him.
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna get ready to close it off.
Right.
But before we do, I want you to look in that camera. Talk to today's youth for a minute.
Are you talking about the D-Up? Or what today's youth?
Today's youth, period. Because I have a lot of youth that watch me.
Okay.
And I need you to speak to them for about a minute.
Okay, let me tell you something, you. You got somebody who cares. You have somebody who loves you. You have somebody who believes in you. Trust me. This man believes in you. I definitely believe in you. You can find me anywhere and I will talk to you about anything. I believe in you. You have somebody who loves you. I don't even know you. And I'm telling you now, I love you. And I'm telling you, I believe in you. You are somebody. And before you make a bad decision, get an opinion from somebody who done already made that decision. And that's me. That's him. That's other grown people. And if you have grown people around that won't reach out and won't understand you and won't listen, man, hit him up and get my number. My number is for my number is worldwide. Everybody in the Metroplex have my number. Everybody all over have my number. Call me. I'm here. I will listen. And I will give you the best advice that I possibly can. The best. Trust me. You have somebody who cares about you. You're not out here by yourself. We are here. You have grown people that care. I care and I love you. So please, before you get into anything, reach out to me. And if you do something bad, still reach out to me because I will still help you. Ask anybody. I don't pass judgment on anybody for what you do or what you might do. I'm not the judgment. I don't pass it. So I'm here. And reach out to this man and he'll get to me. Trust me. I'll send help your way. I don't care where you at. I'll send help your way. And I mean that. That's for me.
Real talk.
Yeah, that's for me.
And that concludes my very first edition of the Positive Postman's podcast.
I will be back because this here wasn't even finished. He ain't even touched all the stuff that he wanted to touch. So I will be back. Y'all peace out.
We coming back.
Yeah, we coming back.
Peace.